Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more informative content like this. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 10 natural home remedies that have proven efficacy in eliminating Helicobacter pylori, the bacteria that, as you know, is involved in many stomach diseases. These diseases can range from chronic gastritis and gastric ulcers to stomach cancers. That is, all of them are directly or indirectly related to this bacteria. I'll explain a little bit about the history of this bacteria, and then I'll go over the different home remedies. I have to tell you that every home remedy you'll see in this video will be accompanied, down here in the description, with the corresponding scientific study that demonstrates the usefulness and efficacy of that remedy for the effective treatment of this bacteria. Alright, I won't ramble on anymore, and here I'll tell you about it. What is Helicobacter pylori? Helicobacter pylori is a gram-negative type of bacteria. All bacteria are divided into two types, gram-positive and gram-negative. This is of interest simply for nomenclature purposes. This one belongs to the gram-negative group. It's a bacteria present all over the world. In fact, 50% of the world's population has or have, because we don't know, this bacteria in our stomach, in the folds of the stomach wall. What happens is that not all people, evidently, develop the appearance of gastritis or an ulcer due to the presence of this bacteria. How is this bacteria contracted? Well, generally the most common way is that we get infected during childhood. It can sometimes occur in children, but the most common is that it starts to cause some problems in adulthood. But as I said, not in all people by any means. Of the 50% of the world's population that carries this bacteria in our stomach, only in those people with some type of predisposition, people subjected to a type of stress, etc., can this bacteria generate the problem. Let's now analyze what 11 home remedies are going to be tremendously useful for us in controlling this bacteria. Note that I say for control, because it must be recognized, they are not going to be natural home remedies that by themselves will completely eliminate it. They are going to be a tremendous help. They are really going to help us a lot in its control, but obviously, you must at the same time accompany these remedies with the antibiotic therapy recommended by your doctor. Here, we're not telling any strange stories. It works very well. It has a proven efficacy, but we can't yet say that they are products that allow us not to have to take the antibiotic in question that our doctor recommends. The first natural remedy that works and has a proven antibiotic efficacy against Helicobacter pylori is cedar essential oil. This oil is a product that has a principle. It has a series of oily principles with antibiotic capacity. If you want us to develop how to use it, how to apply it, and so on, tell me in the comments and we'll make videos about it. But I can't dwell on every remedy and all the paraphernalia of how it has to be used. Just know that it's very effective, and as I also tell you, in the description I will place scientific articles that support its use for the treatment of Helicobacter infection. Then we also have Propolis. Propolis, the product produced by bees, has antibiotic substances with efficacy against Helicobacter. There are several studies that confirm this. It's not, I repeat, the definitive treatment, but it is a very good accompanying treatment to the antibiotic therapy prescribed by your doctor. Then we have ginger. Ginger has two very interesting effects against the development or infection by Helicobacter pylori. Firstly, it's a product that is going to reduce stomach acidity, it's going to prevent nausea, and this in itself has a positive impact against the growth of the bacteria. Secondly, it has active ingredients with a certain antibiotic activity. It's not obviously an antibiotic per se, but if we combine the two effects, the antiemetic effect with the effect of a certain antibiotic quality, then we find a type of infusion, a type of food that we can season anything we have daily, that is going to be very good for us for the control of Helicobacter. Then we also have turmeric. Turmeric has an effect against Helicobacter pylori due to the fact that it reduces the intensity of gastric dyspepsia. Any alteration of the stomach, that stomach discomfort that we often have after a hearty meal or because we are directly stuffed, well, turmeric serves as a natural anti-inflammatory that is very good for reducing the intensity of the symptoms associated with Helicobacter pylori. Again, in this case, it has no antibiotic effect, but it will greatly favor the work that the antibiotic prescribed to you is going to do. Then, we have cabbage and white cabbage. These two foods are recommended for anyone who has a Helicobacter pylori infection. Why? Because they facilitate digestion a lot, eliminating excess flatulence and making the antibiotic you are being given work better against the bacteria. We also have broccoli. Broccoli has in its composition a very interesting substance known by the name of sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is not per se an antibiotic substance, but it does have a very curious effect, which is to coat the stomach wall, making it much more difficult for Helicobacter pylori to cause irritation of the stomach wall. That is the undesirable effect that Helicobacter causes, gastritis, and then the appearance of ulcers. Eating broccoli protects the stomach wall and indirectly will make the antibiotic act better and much faster. Then we also have probiotics. Probiotics, and here we can talk about practically almost any of them, from yogurts to water kefir, etc., have a clear effect against Helicobacter pylori because basically they are bacteria that we include in our diet that what they are going to do is displace Helicobacter pylori. That is, they compete for the same ecological niche, they live in the same place, they are two neighbors. We are putting a beneficial neighbor into the stomach that competes with the undesirable neighbor. Let's say it would be Helicobacter pylori. It would be like the one that occupies the stomach. So this probiotic that we take in the diet is going to displace it, it's going to kick it out, and it's not going to generate the problems that Helicobacter generates. Another food that works frankly very well against Helicobacter pylori infections is honey. In fact, I'll leave you a super interesting work that has been done in Malaysia against the infection by this type of stomach bacteria. What honey would do is, on the one hand, inhibit the growth of the bacteria and at the same time protect the stomach mucosa. It's a work that, as I said, is very interesting and reinforces the use of honey, which we use for almost everything, in this case also for the control of Helicobacter pylori. Another very interesting product for the control of Helicobacter pylori is green tea. Green tea has a very curious effect, and it has been shown to be effective for the control of Helicobacter pylori, especially in the mouth. When we drink green tea, that green tea in the oral cavity is going to control the presence of this bacteria in gums, tongue, and so on. Think that Helicobacter pylori is transmitted from person to person, usually by sexual contact, by kisses, etc., or by fecal contact, by drinking water contaminated with feces that carry Helicobacter pylori. Therefore, we know that it has this effect on the oral mucosa. It is assumed that also on the gastric mucosa, but here it is not yet proven. But this study that I leave here in the description is very significant of how it is going to prevent us in a certain way that if you have Helicobacter pylori, you can infect other people around you. And finally, we have garlic. Garlic has in its composition a substance known by the name of allicin, which is an antibiotic substance. Note that when I say it is a substance with an antibiotic effect, it does not mean, as I have told you in the previous ones, that it is to replace the therapy that your doctor is prescribing you. It is very likely that if you have Helicobacter pylori, your doctor is recommending amoxicillin. Well, if you take garlic, don't remove the amoxicillin, but it is true that including chopped garlic in salads and so on will make that amoxicillin work much better for you for the control of Helicobacter. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you in the next videos. Take good care of yourselves.